Iran has launched a direct attack at Israel. The 6-month-old Israel-Hamas war could now threaten into a full-blown regional conflict. Here are the latest images that we have received in the past few hours. Let's begin. Iran has launched a swarm of explosive drones and fired missiles at Israel in the first-ever direct attack on Israeli territory. This could now risk a major escalation in the Middle East region. Explosions were heard in cities across Israel, including Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, as Israel, US, UK and Jordanian forces have managed to intercept and shoot down most of the missiles and drones launched from Iran. Sirens could be heard in multiple cities of Israel as Iran launched a direct attack on Israel. Hundreds of drones and missiles were fired by Iran, most of which intercepted by the defense system. Bright flashing objects seen falling in the sky over Jordan's capital city of Amman after Iran launched a swarm of explosive drones and missiles. This, remember, becomes the first ever direct attack on Israeli territory and by Iran. On the ground, Iran's civilians appeared to be flooding the streets in large numbers to celebrate the attack on Israel. Numerous videos and social media posts are circulating online depicting large gatherings to celebrate this attack. So tension definitely mounting in the Middle East with booms and air raid sirens that can be heard across Israel after Iran launched hundreds of drones and ballistic missiles, cruise missiles included, and this appears to what they call a revenge mission. In a statement, Israel has said Iran had more than 300 arsenal fired at them. 99% has been intercepted by Israel's defense system, but this is the first big direct attack. Now, according to Iran, they are stating that this was as the Iranian consulate in Syria that was targeted, and that the matter can now be deemed concluded. But Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, chairing an emergency meeting, has said his country is prepared for every scenario and will do everything to defend its territory. He's added that whoever will harm Israel, Israel will hit back. Now, both US President Joe Biden and Rishi Sunak, the UK's Prime Minister, has condemned this attack on Israel by Iran and have reiterated their support for Israel.
אזרחי ישראל, בשנים האחרונות, וביתר שאת בשבועות האחרונים, ישראל נערכת לאפשרות של תקיפה ישירה מאיראן. מערכות ההגנה שלנו פרוסות. אנחנו ערוכים לכל תרחיש, הן בהגנה והן בהתקפה. מדינת ישראל חזקה, צה"ל חזק, הציבור חזק. אנחנו מעריכים את ההתייצבות של ארצות הברית לצידה של ישראל, וכן את התמיכה של בריטניה, צרפת ומדינות רבות אחרות.
Iran has launched a direct attack from Iranian soil towards the state of Israel. We are closely monitoring Iranian killer drones that are en route to Israel sent by Iran. This is a severe and dangerous escalation. Our defensive and offensive capabilities are at the highest level of readiness ahead of this large-scale attack from Iran. Together with our partners, the Israel Defense Forces is operating at full force to defend the state of Israel and the people of Israel. This is a mission that we are determined and ready to fulfill.
ما خود رژیم خبیث که سرتابا خبث و شرارت و خطاست، یک خطای دیگری هم بر خطاهای خودش اضافه کرد و او حمله به کنسولگری ایران در سوریه بود. کنسولگری و دستگاه‌های سفارت در هر کشوری که وجود دارد به منزله خاک همون کشوری است که سفارت متعلق به اوست. وقتی به کنسولگری ما حمله میکنن مثل اینکه به خاک ما حمله کردن. این عرف دنیاست. رژیم خبیث اشتباه کرد در این قضیه، باید تنبیه بشود و تنبیه خواهد شد.
Remember, apart from the regional conflict, the focus for us is also about Indian citizens who are either in Israel and Iran. And both countries, remember, are India's strategic partners and friends. Listen in now to what Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, and specifically how the MEA has already stated that it is concerned about the latest escalation of hostilities between both countries. And Prime Minister has added that their focus will be, as a priority, to save Indians in the conflict zone.
आज विश्व में अनिश्चितता के बादल छाए हुए हैं, युद्ध की स्थिति बनी हुई है, तनावपूर्ण है पूरा विश्व। संकट के ऐसे समय में इन क्षेत्रों में रह रहे भारतीयों की सुरक्षा ये हमारी प्राथमिकता है। और जब दुनिया में इतना प्रकार के भांति प्रकार के तनाव चलते हो, तूफान चलते हो, तब ऐसे समय में भारत में एक मजबूत, पूर्ण बहुमत वाली स्थिर सरकार की आवश्यकता अनेक गुना बढ़ जाती है।
So let's try and get a perspective from Israel on this. Joining me in this telecast is Daniel Seaman. He's been a former official in Prime Minister's office in Israel. He's a political commentator, has been a former civil servant as well. Mr. Seaman, appreciate you joining us in this telecast. My first question is, what are the latest that you're hearing from on the ground, and what is Israel's response likely to be with the latest development of what Iran has done, which is shoot off missiles and drones toward your territory?
It's hard to say what may happen, but what we know is that we have been at war with Iran since October 7th. Even before, for years, they were building up both Hamas and Hezbollah in Lebanon and fighting Israel through proxies. They had hoped to maintain this ability and continue attacking Israel through the use of these kind of proxies and with these terrorist organizations. They made a huge mistake yesterday, and they believed that they had the ability, and they launched an unprecedented attack, not only against Israel. In the history of humankind, there has never been such a level of missile attacks. It's much greater than anything even witnessed in the Ukraine over the past few years. And they were utterly unsuccessful. They were not aware, because of the fact that Israel did not use all its abilities in the war, both with Hamas and Hezbollah. So they believed that they had some ability, and contrary to what they were saying, that they were attacking. No, they fired just like the terrorist organizations. They fired at civilian locations, and yet most of the missiles did not even reach the area of Israel. Those who reached here, none of them succeeded in landing. You had from shrapnel a young girl injured in the desert among the Bedouin, and you had in a military installation a building that was scratched. So this was a complete and utter failure on their part. Now they opened up a direct war against Israel, and they fired from their own country, which has made it legitimate for Israel to take out whatever it feels is necessary to prevent such attacks in the future.
How prepared do you think Israel is with regard to if this turns into a bigger escalation? There have been Hezbollah and Houthis who are known as proxies sent by Iran, but this is a direct attack. How will this possibly be in a response? How prepared is Israel?
But Israel has been planning for this for a very long time. And this means that not only with the defense elements that we prepared, but also with cooperation that we had with NATO forces, the United States, Britain, and France, and also with Jordan, Egypt, and it is not known, but there has also been certain cooperation with Saudi Arabia. Israel was not only fired at from Iran yesterday, it was from other locations, and we had several countries that were involved that are not being mentioned at the moment because of the sensitivities that are involved here. The United States said that it would not partake in any attack or retaliation in Iran. We're not expecting them to. As I said, we planned and prepared and were aware of this possibility for over 20 years. The Prime Minister gave a speech at the American Congress back over a decade ago in which he described the threat that Iran poses not only to Israel, but into the Western world itself. And they say it. We're not making this up. You have to listen to what they're saying. And they've made it very clear as they promote this world jihad movement. Israel is just the closest location. By the way, India is pretty close as well. They threatened Pakistan, who they do not agree with ideologically and religiously, because they're being Shia and the Pakistanis being Sunni. It goes into these depths of the Islamic conflict as well among the different sects within Islam. But the ones who have been promoting all of this have been the Iranians. And now finally they've taken off the veil over their faces, and everybody can see what their plans are. And they were met with a very decisive Israel and a very prepared Israel. And as I said, this was just the first step. We very likely will be taking steps to send a very clear message, not only to them, but to other elements in the Middle East to believe that this was a good idea on the part of Iran.
So, Donald Seaman, let's hope that diplomacy and discussions come into the picture here and it does not escalate. But this is a big developing story, and we'll be tracking all the latest with top experts only on India Today television.